Alright, so I know it took a little longer to get this video posted than I expected, but here we go. This is classic skillet fried chicken. It starts with 1 egg, a tablespoon of sea salt, or kosher salt if you have it. Then we'll add 2 tablespoons of Tony's salt-free Cajun seasoning. And this is optional, but I like the flavor. And 2 tablespoons with the egg, the chicken, and the buttermilk is just going to lend a nice flavor. It's not going to be overpowering. So we're going to whisk that together, and we're going to add a pint of cultured buttermilk. We're going to whisk that all together, and I'm going to add 1 pound of chicken. Now I'm using skinless, boneless thighs because that's what I have. You could do this with skin-on chicken, bone-in, skin-on chicken. You could even do this with the oh-so-dreadful skinless, boneless, flavorless chicken breast. So we mix all this together, we put in our pound of chicken, and then we're going to cover it. Now I'm going to leave this sit for 1 hour on the counter. Covered. After 1 hour, I'm going to put it in the fridge. Now you'll want to leave this in the fridge for at least 2 hours. But you can leave it in up to overnight, and you can make this the next day. I have my cast iron skillet because we're doing a classic fry. It's been about 5 hours that my chicken's been in the fridge. I'm going to fill this pan 2/3 up with canola oil. You can use whatever kind of oil you have as long as it's a light oil that you can bring up to temp to fry with. I'm going to put it on a medium heat with my thermometer. And while this heats up, you're going to turn on your oven to 350 degrees. You're going to place a pan in there. It'd be best if you had a pan with a rack, but it's not necessary. Now that that's all done, I'm going to start mixing my dredge. It's 1 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of cornmeal, 1 tablespoon of Tony's, a teaspoon each of cayenne and ground thyme, 1 tablespoon each of garlic and onion powders, or granulated, either way. Salt and pepper. I mean, this is a matter of to taste, but you want to make sure you're adding salt and pepper. It adds a layer of flavor throughout your entire fried chicken. We'll whisk that all together, and by this time our oil is up to temp to fry. Mine was actually at about 360, so I turned the heat down just a hair, but it will cool as soon as we add the chicken. Alright, so now we're going to pull the chicken out of the fridge. I'm going to use tongs for this. You can use your bare hands, but just make sure you have 1 wet hand, 1 dry hand, so you don't end up with zombie fingers. Let the excess buttermilk mix run off there. I'm going to throw it right in our dredge. And then we'll make sure it's coated really nicely and put it in the oil. Now, the whole purpose of the 2/3 oil fill here is so that we have room for displacement from the chicken when it starts frying. You'll see when I switch over camera angles here that I had about a 1/2 inch from the top lip of my cast iron. Alright, so this is actually the last 2 pieces of my 4. My oil is currently at about 325, 330, which is just about the minimum of where you want to be. You'll be able to see the dark color there and the crust here. This is what you want your chicken to look like. This is where we're at to flip it. We're going to give it a couple more minutes on the second side, and then we're going to place them in the oven. Now you need an internal of 160 from inside the oven. 165 is cooked. They will carry over cook once you pull them out. If you start going over 160 to 165 or higher, you're going to end up with dry chicken. I know a lot of you are scared of undercooking chicken. You can trust me in this, that 160 in the center of your chicken means that your chicken is done. I went with a non-traditional plating this time. I actually did new red potatoes and snow peas. As always, smoked meat, not meth, and I hope this helps you with your fried chicken.